Hi everyone, this is Shelly with Life Creates Art, and thank you for joining me for our third and maybe final series of our affirmation art. So far we have done a sunflower and we have done a whimsical affirmation tree, and now we're going to finish off the series with a sunset, and we're going to have two very simple palm trees coming up out of our sunset. So this is going to be a fairly simple one. The affirmation tree, which with all of those colors was fairly complicated, this one's going to be really simple. So gather your friends and come and paint with me. This is going to be very serene. Lots of colors, as you can see. We're going to go over the palette right now, but it's going to be a lot of fun because painting a sunset is quite fun. But the palm trees are going to be just in black, and that way all of our affirmations that we're going to write in black will really stand out and jump off of that canvas. And that way when we walk by it, we see those beautiful sunset colors, and then we see those affirmations that will build and form our life when we see them and say them and speak them. And that way, whenever we speak those words of life into our own life, even if we don't see them, even if we don't feel them, they still build our life and maybe bring some joy to us. Things like, I am strong, even if you don't feel strong. I am filled with joy, even if you're not filled with joy at that moment. Say those things, and that way it's kind of like walking in a hope that you will have those things in your life, but it brings those things into your life. Like I talked to you about Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And so for every action that you take with speaking these words out, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And it is also the law of attraction. Whatever you speak out, you are attracting. If you speak negative things into your life, you're going to attract negative things. And so we are going to, let's talk about our palette. We can talk while we paint, but let's talk about our palette. Right now, we're going to use the deep purple dioxazine. Oh, I'm really bad with reading these painting. I just like the colors, and so I paint with them. Purple, and so it's a really deep purple, and I love, love, love it. I'm going to put it on my hand so you guys can see it. It's a really nice purple. And then we've got the brilliant purple, which is kind of a lavender color. And I love the crimson red. And the reason I like the crimson red is, I'm going to show you. It is a red, but it's kind of got a little hint of pink. I actually have it right here on my palette. It kind of has a, it's not a red, it kind of turns a little bit of a pink. A rosy pink. And then I've got more of a red. So I've got more of a crimson, another red type of red in here, a brighter red. And then I've got a cadmium medium yellow. I've got the same thing here. But the reason I have two of the same thing, because this is a heavy body yellow. And I like the heavy body. Sometimes I get some of the heavy body because these are a little bit thinner and you can kind of see through them when you put them on the canvas. And the heavy body paints are wonderful to work with. And then of course we've got the orange, and this is a cadmium orange, and our black and white. So the black and white, of course the white is going to be used on our sunset, but the black is going to be for our trees and not for our sunset. So this is going to be our sunset, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get started, and we're going to bring some of this dark purple, and we're not going to use too much of this. We're just going to use a little bit of this right up here in our corners. And don't forget to get your corners. If you're not going to frame this, you're going to want to paint the corners. some water here. And we're going to be doing a lot of blending here today. I may use a bigger brush as I go along, but right now, to just get my color down, I'm going to be using my 1-inch brush. And so I'm going to be bringing in that lavender color, and I'm going to blend it in with that darker. And again, we're just going to be blending a lot of colors today. And I'm just going to swipe some of that across here and blend it again in. Over here, adding a little bit of water with my darker purple. And now I'm even going to start adding some of that little, that rose red I was telling you about. We're going to add some of that in through the middle section here. I'm going to wipe off my brush a little bit because I want to bring some more of that lavender down. It's okay if it's going to mix a little bit because colors of the sunset mix a little bit. So what I'm saying by wiping off my brush, I still have the color on there. I'm just doing this. I'm not cleaning it with water. So I'm bringing some of that down, still even further. Getting the top. All right. So brightening this up a little bit. And going to get some of that even brighter cadmium red going down in here through the middle of our sunset. That's pretty. And now I am going to rinse off my brush. Now I can come back and I'm going to use some of my heavy body yellow to come down at first. And I'm going to put some of my lighter bodied on the side to blend in all this orange because I want, oh, look how pretty that is. I want that to just really combine and really mix together. How beautiful that is. I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to use the water that was the cleaner water. It didn't have a lot of the red. I'm going to add, whoop, I forgot my white. Okay, so now we're going to start adding a little bit of white. We are going to put a little sun right here. There's a little something right there. We are going to put a little sun there, but we're going to add some of the white through here for right now just to kind of brighten things up. Going to brighten it up right through here. Bring that down. That is yummy. Now, we're going to work on these again, the sides. Let's bring in some of the yellow again to kind of blend that in. I want to bring some of the orange in here too, off to the side. Just play with this, add some water, and really just have some fun with this. Blending is a creative process. Remember that it's not a science. You can start adding some of that lavender again down here. You just have some fun with it, but just be careful with the colors that you combine. You don't want to have some browns added together. You don't want to turn your palette brown. I'm going to add some of that deeper purple again down here. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush. Okay. Now I'm going to really start to have some fun here with the blending. I'm going to make kind of a almost a pink. With my white and my red. And kind of bring it in here. So combine your colors. Make kind of a pink, bringing that through here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, and what I want you to do, is I have a nice big brush here, and I'm just going to come through, and might need a little bit of water. I'm just going to blend these colors all together. Just use a nice big wide brushes, swipes all across. And I added a little bit of water, sweeping across. It's kind of getting in the way of some of my colors, so I may need to come back in, and that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. This is a fun process. Just keep wiping the brush and keep swiping inward. Okay, so now I've done that with my big brush. I'm going to come back in now and just sort of touch up some of these golden colors that I've done here. And some of those oranges, and kind of brighten those up a little bit more. And then we're going to come back in the middle again. Go up here by the purple again. It's going to look really, really pretty with the palm trees going across the top. I'm going to add more purple. We're going to make that section more defined, so don't worry. That sounded terrible, didn't it? So we are going to define this more. I want to bring that purple up. And in the bottom. I'm not trying to, for mine, I'm not trying to create water or anything like that. I'm just trying to create a look of shine and and beauty and light. Let me go across here. And sort of blend that in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this middle section. Cleaning my brush again, because I really need the white to be a little more pure. So I'm going to add a little more white to my palette because I want a pure white. So because this white right here is got a little bit of the pink added to it. So I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit and bring this down like the sun is reflecting. And we're going to bring that down. It's almost like this is our horizon line, and we'll just kind of make that our horizon line. Okay, now we are going to take I just hit my painting. We're going to take a nice little 1/4 inch brush, and we're going to make right in the middle here. I've got quite a lot of paint on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of outline, because this needs to dry a little bit before my white paint can be received onto the canvas. But I'm going to, you can see sort of the outline of where my sun is going to be. And once it dries a little bit, I'll be able to really do add more white. Get some on there. There we go. So there we go. That works. I'm going to look at it at a different angle. I'm sort of off to the side here and make sure that this is round and not kind of a flat donut. But I'll do that off camera. But we'll do that. And then also, you want to add a little highlight to it. Not too much, because it is the bright sun. When you look at it, it's nice and white. Okay, so this is the essence of what we're doing, and our sunset. And our palm trees are going to just come right up through here, through our sunset. And they're going to be black, and then we're going to write all over this. So we'll be right back after it dries. Well, hi everyone, and we are back. It is actually the next day. And of course, my sunset is completely dry. But the thing about it is, I wanted to talk to you about this, is I came in last night and the sun had kind of gone down, and I don't like to record when the sun goes down because of course we have this window here and the light comes in, and when I record at night, then it sort of changes the color of the canvas. As we saw in our last video, I recorded something in the morning, let it dry throughout the day, and then recorded something at night. And even with our lights, it changed the color of what we saw on the canvas because I didn't have the light of day. So I wanted to wait till today, but I started messing around with the sunset a little bit. I kind of didn't like it. And so I just started painting and thinking, oh, should I turn on the camera? And then I started not liking what I was doing, getting frustrated as we do. And it reminded me of something. I'm just going to take a minute to talk about it. It reminded me of something that I talked about early on in my videos. And if you've watched my videos, you'll know that when we get frustrated with something, especially when we're painting and in life, we get frustrated, we stop, and we can get so angry at ourselves and angry at what's going on, the situation. And sometimes we just have to press through, because if we make a mistake, generally, if we press through, take nice deep breaths, we usually end up with something much better on the other side. And as it turns out, I kind of like what I did better on the other side than what I originally had. So even though I had to go through a little bit of frustration, I like what I have now a little bit better. I did add a little bit of a horizon line. I added a little bit of that purple to the horizon line. I, of course, told you what I was going to do. I made this a little more of a circle. I took a glass from our, I can show you. It's this little cup I use. I actually use it for oil paintings. And I put it here and painted around it and just made it a full circle, added a little bit of highlights yellow, added some orange, and just sort of touched things up and made it the way that I like. I mentioned to you in the last painting that we did with the tree that you take your time with your paintings. There's no need to rush. There's no need to do it in just a 30-minute time span, the 40-minute time span. Stop the video and take the time that you need, because this is going to be your work of art. And if it doesn't look exactly like mine, that's fine. This is yours. This is your touch. This is your fingerprint. And so now we're going to continue on, and we're going to work on the two palm trees. There's going to be two palm trees sitting here. I'm going to realign the camera so you can see it well. We're going to start with drawing it on. We're going to sketch it on with a pencil, and then we're going to do just the black paint. So the only color that you will need today is a pencil, maybe a nice eraser, and some black paint. So let's get started. All right, everyone, we are ready to begin, and we're going to take our pencil, and again, we're just sketching out our tree. We're going to start at the bottom here. Let me raise this up just a tad for just a moment so you can see the bottom, and I will adjust it. We're going to start here at the bottom, and we're going to sketch our tree. I hope you can see that. And we're going to just bring a little bit of a bend to our tree. And going to bring it up here. And we're going to let that come in just a little bit like that. I'll make it a little bit darker just to make sure you can see that. Okay, now, in order to really make a palm tree, now I've been doing palm trees since I was a little girl. It was one of the first things that I loved to draw and sketch. And so you just do the center line of the palm tree. And so we're just going to do the center line. And we're going to bring another one of the palms here, and we're going to do one there. Okay? Now, in order to see this better, I want to, for you to be able to see it better, I want to do this in a little bit of black paint here. Now, we're going to do this first tree. I'm going to fill it in a little bit, and then I'll be working on this part because I don't want my hand to be rubbing on this tree. So we're going to start with this tree. So now we are going to add a little bit of water, just a little bit. Remember that if you add more than 30% of water to your acrylic paints, then it breaks down the molecules in your acrylic paints, and then it will make for, in later years, it will crack, your paints will crack, and they will break down easier. So if you want your paints to last for future generations, then try not to add more than 30% water to your paints, your acrylic paints. It separates those molecules too much. So we're going to build up this trunk here to our tree, our palm tree, a little bit here. I'm using about a half inch brush here to do that. I'm just going to worry about the detail a little bit later. I'm just coming in with some broad strokes. I'm going to use a brush that is, hold it up against my finger here. It's got a little bit of a, it's a little bit wide, but not thin, too thin. So to do the little leaves on a palm tree. Now, as we know, the leaves on the palm tree go out, and we're going to start from here, and you're just going to start brushing, and you're just going to brush down. Some of them are longer, and some of them are shorter, so don't worry. You could do short ones, and you could do some long. And they do get a little thicker as they go towards this middle part. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a thinner brush to sort of fill in. I'm using my pinky, making sure that it's not touching any paint, to sort of use as a brace on the painting, to just sort of do some wispies here. Okay, now we're going to come in and we're going to do the next one. I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to do the others on a little bit of fast forward with some music, and I will let you just fly on your own here, and then I will slow it down when we do our next tree. So we're going to allow some room here for a little bit of a thinner branch. Switching my brush for some thinner wispies. So just keep playing with this, and I'm going to finish up this tree, and you just go ahead and keep playing, and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the second tree here, and rather than pencil it in, I'm just going to go ahead and sketch it in for you with some black paint. I'm going to start right over here in the corner. So this is going to come out of the corner, and it's going to curve in, and I kind of want it to sit a little higher than the other tree and a little thinner even. And remember, we're going to be putting affirmations all over this tree. And the reason that we do that is because we're going to be looking at this beautiful sunset. And for those of you who have been to Hawaii and love to look at the sunset, I'm going to touch up a couple spaces over here. Don't forget to go back and touch up some of the things on this tree. There's going to be some spots that are going to need touching up. I see lots of little areas over here that need touching up. And so anyway, getting back to going to Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii since it was my graduation gift for high school from my parents, and I have very little memory of it. But I would like to go back someday and see it again. I remember the sunsets for sure. Now we're going to come in again with some more black paint. I'm going to freshen up my paint a little bit with some water. Again, don't add more than 30%. But sunsets for me, a lot of people are different, but sunsets for me, beach scenes, sitting at the beach, for me, it's very peaceful, brings me a lot of peace. And other people, it's gardens, walking, hiking through gardens where there's trees and forests and things like that. And there's just different things bring people different types of peace. And for me, it's definitely the beach. So seeing this with a lot of affirmations on it is definitely going to bring me a lot of peace. And I've already got a lot of affirmations written out. I think that this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to be hanging up for myself. Got a lot of affirmations written out. I'm so excited about hanging this one up, walking by it, and just reminding myself about these affirmations and speaking them out over my life. And people may think that this stuff doesn't work. They may think, oh, Shelly, it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. How can this help? How can speaking out things? And that's a bunch of religious crap. I've heard it before. I've heard it all before, trust me. And because I have been in that arena, and I know what people say about it, and I understand it. I am a minister. I don't attend church anymore, but I understand what people say about it, and I've seen things in my own life, though. This is how I know that it works. I've been fighting a lot of depression myself because of menopause, and I've seen these things work in my own life, and it's sort of helped me claw my way out of a depression that I have not wanted to be in, and it was simply hormonal. So we're just doing this. Don't forget that you can have these things in your life. Just continue to believe them. I'm going to have to actually add another little one here for myself. But you can, like I said, play with it a little more. It's your art. But continue to play with this, and I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and then put on some nice relaxing music and add my own affirmations. You're welcome to use some of the affirmations that I put on here. I will show you the final picture at the end. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I look forward to your feedback. Welcome to make any comments, and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And this is Shelly signing out. I'm here for you guys. Bye.